our brains get wired. And, and it is a physical electromagnetic process that wires our brains. And our brain is designed for us to be in automatic pilot for 95% of the time. And so if we don't take a look at what we've learned and what those programs are, it's like running on a DOS computer with our smartphone. It doesn't work. They're outdated, and we're crashing and we're burning, and then we're thinking there's something wrong with us. Instead of looking at the program of what we learned it with the knowledge that we had at the time, based on our interpretation of what our brain thought was happening.
What's up, you beautiful beasts? I'm Katie. I'm on a mission to help humans become the best possible versions of themselves and to strive for overall health, mental health, emotional health, physical health, all of the healths, without ever having to step on a scale. I have had the privilege to talk to all kinds of different humans who've been through a plethora of experiences just being a human and existing. I believe that every single time somebody shares their story, at least one person listening will learn from it, be inspired by it, and maybe, just maybe, even change the entire direction of their life. These are the stories of humans unveiling their beautiful beast. Keep listening. This is the Unveiling the Beast podcast. Okay, welcome to the Unveiling the Beast podcast. Can you please repeat? I'm just kidding.
I love
totally
it
kidding. Your face was like, oh. No, for the listener, we were just talking about how none of these episodes are scripted and it's just organic conversations. And she said something that I wanted everybody to hear.
And that is, we are not script actors. We are authentic people living in alignment. And we're not here to write a movie or something. We're here to connect and be together.
Yes. And with that, could you introduce yourself?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Could you tell me a little bit about who you are and why you think you are who you are?
Ooh, I like that question. Okay, my name is Kathy Baldwin. I am the author of the book Unlearn the Crap about personal success and empowerment. And I am the show host, creator, producer of the new show Unlearn the Crap TV. How I got to be this way is I was following the rules of society and being the good girl and doing all the things that I was supposed to do. And I had a complete and total nervous breakdown and realized that the medical system and the education system and all these systems that we are a part of are designed for my disempowerment. They were not designed for me to be healthy, whole, and thriving. And so when I wanted to get to root cause analysis, I had to do it myself.
There you go. Can I ask if in any of those rules and systems, you include diet culture?
Oh my God. Yes, all of them. I mean, first of all, we're told a whole pile of rules about diet. My body is a mess because I've followed every one of them. I've got fibromyalgia, adrenal fatigue, osteoarthritis. It was all stress induced, and no one told us about how our central nervous system works and how our gut microbiome and how all of that affects. It's all this crazy calories in, calories out, burn off what you eat. That's such a bunch of lies.
Yeah. I only ask that because that's where my work is like helping people heal their relationship to food and to their bodies and to themselves and unlearn all the bullshit that diet culture teaches us. Like, it's so prevalent in society. It's like disordered eating conversations are normal.
Yeah.
And so I asked because that's where my work is.
Well, I'm so happy that's what your work is, because I love the fact that you were talking about unleashing the beast within, because we are all such amazing, powerful people, but we've been purposefully disempowered.
Yeah.
And part of that is that diet culture and this belief that our bodies are supposed to look like how the trend says our body is supposed to look like, instead of us authentically going within ourselves and finding out what our body wants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it never made sense to me why there's like, you have to look this way. And if you look this way, we will assume that you're healthy, because everybody has different DNA. Like you wouldn't look at a Chihuahua and a Bulldog and be like, oh, that Bulldog needs to lose weight. Like,
I love that analogy.
yeah. So,
I love that analogy. That is awesome. Yes, you're so right. And yet we're put into a box of conformity through education, through workforce, also that we are locked into a system where we're consumers and workers for a system that is designed to keep us trapped, and 2% of the population reap all the benefits. It's so wrong.
yeah. Yeah. So, what kind of like are you a coach? What kind of work do you do in order to like open the eyes of the world, so to speak?
Well, I created a coaching program, it's very powerful. It's based on my own journey. It's called Drive Your Destiny. It's about how we were taught how to drive a car. We were taught how the rules of the road work, what the signs are, what the speed limits, how everybody interacts. We were taught how the car works, how the steering and the brakes and all of that. We were taught how to use a GPS and a map so we knew how to navigate. But yet in our lives, in our bodies, we were thrown out into the world and basically said, figure it out. We weren't told about our central nervous system. We weren't told about our three brains. We weren't told about how our brains are wired and how we can unwire and where our health comes from and how to authentically know who we are and align with our own personal GPS of our emotions and our frequencies and our vibrations, and how to use all 12 of the universal laws to flow through life. And so I created that program thinking my role was to be a coach. Well, I've had my own learning in that the universe has guided me to something bigger and better, that there are way better coaches out there than me. And my job is to showcase the amazing expertise of all the amazing people that I meet. So that's how I've evolved into Unlearn the Crap TV.
I love that. And I love the name too. Just a side note, my family owns a company called Shit Audio. And so right now we have two branches. One in California is shit and one in Texas is crap. And so it's
like, we need to connect on this, girl.
Yeah. I mean, they make audio equipment, so I'm like, it's nothing exciting, but it really is. But I think I lost the excitement because I worked there for 4 years. But yeah, it's just funny. Yeah.
I one of the things that I love is that people are so hung up on words like shit and crap. Like that word is going to determine what kind of person we are. It's part of that rules of conformity. And so for your family to pull that into something so intricate like an audio system, that is brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty cool. And they have names for the units. Like there's a FOLA. So it's a full of shit. There's like all these different slogans, and it's just so funny. And the way the name came up was they started so it's my stepdad and his friend's company. They started in his friend's garage, and his wife came in and said, "What is all this shit?" And that's how the company was named. It's so
Love
funny.
It.
Yeah.
Love it. I did not have such a fun thing. The title Unlearn the Crap just arrived in my head. You're going to write a book and it's going to be called Unlearn the Crap. Okay, let's do it.
Nice. I like
And
that.
that's what I mean is when I didn't go about saying I need to write a book and I need the book to be about this and me control and manage and manipulate all of the
Yeah.
pieces. It arrived and I put my hands on the keyboard and 3 days later I had my first rough draft. The book was basically written because I just allowed instead of forced.
I love that. Let's dig in a little deeper about unlearn. Um, unlearning and um well, with my thing, I say unveil the beautiful beast within. The beautiful beast within is the real you. And unveil is like take off all the layers that you've put on over the years and actually unbecome the person that you are to become your real self. So I hear the word unlearn and I think of unbecome, and they're kind of in my head, they're related.
They are definitely related, except mine is more on a physical, biological point of view. Our brains get wired,
Mhm.
and it is a physical electromagnetic process that wires our brains. And our brain is designed for us to be in automatic pilot for 95% of the time. And so if we don't take a look at what we've learned and what those programs are, it's like running on a DOS computer with our smartphone. It doesn't work. They're outdated and we're crashing and we're burning and then we're thinking there's something wrong with us instead of looking at the program of what we learned it with the knowledge that we had at the time based on our interpretation of what our brain thought was happening. I'm going to give you a funny example
Okay.
about that ties into my name of Unlearn the Crap. My mother was an amazing, amazing woman. And she was powerful and strong and sexy and fun and she was successful, but she had this joke. And the joke was, I'm so perfect that I don't have bodily functions. Well, do you know that I suffered with so many digestive issues for 40 years? From IBS to ulcers to you name it, all because it wasn't until my healing journey that I started to go back and unlearn things, and I thought my whole life I have been suppressing my bodily functions because I thought that meant there was something wrong with me.
Mm, that's big.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's how core it can go to something so fundamental that you're trying to deny that your body is supposed to have a digestive system. Well, no wonder I've got stress issues and
Yeah.
uh, adrenal fatigue and fibromyalgia and a weight problem because
Yeah.
my body has been not allowed to do what it's supposed to do naturally because of this belief that I unknowingly taught it to believe. And with repetition, we do that. And there's so many of these beliefs that are put into us, whether it is systematically external from society or our education system. Like our education system was based on judgment and shame. You're right, you're wrong, you fit, you don't. It's all about somebody judging us and us being afraid of making a mistake or being deemed that we don't fit in when it's so far from the truth. It has nothing to do with us.
Yeah. I wanted to comment on two things. The beliefs. A lot of people, well, most people are unaware of the belief systems that they're running on. And so when they get a coach or a therapist or somebody to help them dig that out of them, they're like, "Oh, like you said, like, oh, I've been, I had my mom's voice in my head all this time." And so like we're not even aware of the belief systems we're running on unless you can get some help, in my opinion. I think most people need somebody to help them, dig it out of them. Uh,
Absolutely. We
yeah.
need that mirror. We need that that I can't think of the word where it's that reflection coming back to you. Because when you
Mm.
get the truth reflected back to you, as soon as I realized that my digestive issues were because of my mother's joke, it was so, I didn't have to do any healing. All of a sudden I went, it was a joke. And it just went away because now my body works the way it's supposed to work, and I just allow it and I celebrate it when it, and if it's a little pain or something, I say, oh, what are you trying to tell me? I listen.
Yeah. And now you can say, I'm perfect because I have bodily functions.
Ooh, I like that. Oh, I like that. I like that. I'm going to steal that.
I fart, I'm perfect.
I'll have to tell my partner that.
Yeah. Oh man. Um, the other thing I wanted to comment was your explanation of like our education system, and it's that rote learning where the information comes in, we take a test, the information goes right back out, and if you don't fit into that bubble of this is how you're supposed to learn, then it's the kid who has a problem, not the system itself. And when I learned that, I was like, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, because we
Mhm.
all learn differently and we all have different zones of genius. And when we're trying, our education system was built on the Industrial Revolution. It was designed to feed jobs. It was corporations going to the government and saying, we need people to learn how to do this so they can fill these jobs. It was never about self discovery. It was never about learning how to learn. It was never learning about how to connect with your inner self and bring your genius out. Do you know? In the book called The Outliers, they tell a story about how centuries ago, if a child was seemed to have some artistic ability or musical ability, the child was sent away to live with an expert and be groomed in that environment, not the family they were birthed in,
Mm.
so that the child was no longer owned by the family and the rules and the structure that the family was trying to create, but instead it saw its genius and it said, here, let us create the environment where you can thrive and really develop into who you are.
Imagine if we did that now.
Imagine.
Yeah. I mean, not that we
That's a,
would have to permanently leave our families, but imagine if we were able to put our kids in those environments where they just they're not focusing on the D minus that they got on the test. They're focusing on the A they got in art or music or whatever, you know?
or not even the grade.
Yeah.
The skill development, the honing, the sharpening of the ability that we have. Uh, I I've just recently gotten into human design and realized that here I had been trying to do and be something that goes against who I actually am. And so when I realized that who I naturally am is a learner, a seeker, and a talker, well, anything that's not in those realms, I'm not worried how good I am at them. I'm
Yeah.
really bad at tech. I'm really bad at details. Oh God, don't ask me to balance an accounting ledger or something like that. I just, I'm
Yeah.
not going to beat myself up that that's not who I am anymore, because I've come to the place where it's like I'm going to celebrate who I naturally am instead of trying to conform and fit to who I am supposed to be.
Yeah. I love that. And that all circles back to my work in healing your relationship to yourself and finding like not waiting for somebody to on the outside to tell you what you're supposed to eat. I mean, it's good to have like some education in like nutrient dense foods and stuff like that cuz we don't want to ignore that, but I mean like finding out what your body wants. Not her body, your body. Finding out how your body likes to move. Not her body, your body. And so it's just coming back to that being you,
Yeah.
unveiling your beast.
That is so, so
Yeah.
beautiful. So, do you also deal with emotional eating?
Yes.
Because I wish I'd have met you I remember when I was young, I was about 12 to 14 years old, and I would steal the change on my father's dresser, and I would run to the grocery store and buy a birthday cake, and I would
Mm.
eat the cake in the grocery store parking lot.
So nobody would know.
Nobody would know. And I'd
Yeah.
eat the whole cake. And
Did
I
you
don't know
know?
why I did it.
I was just gonna say, did you know why you were doing it?
No, no idea.
That's
And to this
big.
day, I don't know why. I just know I was feeding something.
Yeah. Part of my story is my parents got divorced when I was 7, and I started emotionally eating, but I didn't know that's what I was doing. I was just eating. Like when you're a kid, you don't know like the bigger concepts. You know what I mean? And that was the first time I started gaining weight, and then it was just this big thing. I had a mean grandma who wanted me to go to fat camp. I was put on diet medications when I was 10, and like just this whole thing fucked me up.
Yeah.
I'm good now, but those were feeding into my beliefs that I didn't know were there until
Yeah.
I started working with somebody. But I had a point and I forgot where I was going. Um, but yeah, just
How,
like when we're young, we don't know that's what we're doing, and then it becomes a habit
yeah.
to eat
Because
our
we're not
emotions.
yeah, we're not taught what the emotions are, that
Hmm.
emotions are information. Our emotions are telling us what's going on inside. They vibrate externally and internally. They change the wiring of our body, they change the biochemistry of our body, they change our DNA, they change everything.
Mm,
And if we're told to suppress our feelings, don't cry. Don't ever let anyone see you cry. Suck it up. Put on your big girl panties, shut up or I'll give you something to cry about,
yeah,
instead of, okay, what's happening? And then teaching children and people how to address that emotion and then raise their own vibration by healing it step by step. We're not taught that.
yeah. Mm,
You said something earlier and about what a difference a world we would be in. And I have this belief and it's created my mission. And I just feel I have to share it because of what you just
okay.
said. I believe that we are in a massive paradigm shift. I believe that the world with AI and automation and robotics is coming in and taking away the job that we've been taught through our education system. We're no longer going to need to do the manual, repetitive jobs that we were trained for. We can send a robot into a coal mine. We can do surgery through telescopically across the world with robotics. There's so many
Yeah,
things that we can do that we don't have to do it the way we were taught. And so to me, this is the most exciting time in the world, because if we're not needed to do what we were trained and taught to do, what our whole society was built on, what does that leave us to do? And my answer is the most human thing we are. Our innovation, our creativity, our imagination, our authenticity, our gifts, our passions, our love, our compassion. Imagine what kind of world we would be in if everybody was living their own truth and bringing their unique gifts to the world. Could you imagine where hate fits in that world? Where does war fit in that world? Where does poverty, where does any of this fit into a world when we are all independently, fully authentic and aligned and living our purpose?
Mic drop. I'm going to insert like applause right there.
It gives me goosebumps when I think about it, and that is what wakes me up in the morning. That's what keeps me going. That's what energizes me, is that thought of what we can do.
Yeah, I've never thought about it that way because I don't know why I know AI, there's a lot of good, but I tend to focus on the bad. I use it for like captions in my reels and stuff like that, but um the things that I don't like about it are the 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 fake portraits that it can make of you. Like, give it this picture and it'll make you all these business professional. I'm like, that's not me though. And so my brain, for whatever reason, automatically goes to that rather than everything that you just said, which is incredible.
Well, when we think about it, I went to school where there was something wrong with you if you needed a calculator in your exams. Well, we were supposed to be able to do it all in our heads. We weren't supposed to use the tools that were created. Then came the internet. You're supposed to go to the encyclopedia and look it up in the library, and you're supposed to spend all this time and energy doing that.
Mm-hmm.
We have these tools. It's how we use them.
Yeah.
I use AI all the time. I have an AI tool that I have trained it who I am, what I think, what I believe, and what I do. So when I sit down, I'll say things like, okay, today we're going to do this project, and these are the things we're going to talk about. And so all of this stuff, and then I want you to write this. Okay, now clean this up, do this, do that. So it's like having a team of people all around me that are the experts in copywriting, in marketing, in whatever, and I'm getting them to help me build something bigger. So my productivity has gone so much higher. I accomplished so much more. I'm doing more of what I am best at, and I'm using AI to augment where my non-strengths are.
Yeah. This is super helpful for me because what came to me when you were saying all that was I used to be afraid of direct deposit for years. And I think it wasn't until maybe 10 years ago when I finally decided, okay, I'll give it a shot. And nothing happened except once it was put into somebody else's account, but I got my money back. Um, but I mean, yeah, I think for me it's just kind of expanding and looking at all the good it could do rather than just focusing on that. For me, for whatever reason, it's just the picture thing, like making a picture of you that's not you, but it's you. I don't know. That's weird to me. But everything you said, like increasing your productivity and all that stuff, it goes back to the direct deposit. It's going to save me time in my car going to the bank.
And standing in line and
Yeah.
all the rest. Yeah, absolutely. Do you know that I have different guest experts that come on Unlearn the Crap, and you can edit this out, but I definitely would like you and I to talk about you coming on my show as an expert on body image and food
Sure.
and that. But one of my experts, he creates a clone of you. So that, yes, so you teach it your who you are. You give it your material. You give it your podcasts, your writings, your books. You give it whatever you want. You instruct it on your thoughts and your feelings and your beliefs, and then it is the face on doing so much of your automation behind the scenes. It'll connect with people and say, "Hi, you've reached Kathy's clone. What do you want to talk about?" And it will do all that mundane things. To me, that makes it easier for people to approach me because they can do that hashing out without the real person. You
Yeah.
know, it
Yeah.
makes it it's so much easier that they know that they're going to be talking to something I programmed, and it'll only answer the limitations of what I have given it. But in the meantime, you don't have to worry about how's this person going to think or whatever. You can do all of that with a machine.
Yeah. And how many times as women, or I was going to say as women, but even as people, have we been like, I have so much to do. I wish I could clone myself.
Yes. And we
Yeah.
can. We can create automations. We can have our bills automatically paid. I schedule Amazon to bring my kitty litter to the house, so I don't have to carry a 40-pound thing of kitty litter.
There you go.
Those are the things I don't want to have to do. So I can
Mhm.
schedule it, I can automate it, I can use all of that technology. And then what am I going to do? I'm learning how to bake sourdough bread. I'm growing my own garden from seeds. I'm doing the
Mhm.
things that I want to do
Yeah,
rather than all the stuff I have to do.
I love that. How many cats do you have?
One.
One. Oh,
Why?
I had 11.
Wow.
One of them disappeared, but they're all, so you can't really see them because they're black, but I have two of them on my bed.
Oh,
You
wonderful.
see any white? That's one of
Yes.
them. The other one is pure black.
Wow.
Um, the pure black one, she's been with us for 9 years, I think. And then the other ones were born in my shed last year. Three of them were born in my shed. Um, and nobody wanted them. So I just ended up with four cats in my house. And now I have like cats in my backyard. And so they're not really all mine. They're just, most of them are strays, but I pet them and feed them and do things
That's
I'm
how I
not
got.
supposed to.
It's funny because that's how I got my cat. I wanted a cat. I didn't want to have to go out for walks in the snow and the rain, and so I
Yeah.
wanted a cat. And I tried to adopt. I wanted a cat from the Humane Society. Do you know the hoops that they made me go through? It was more difficult than trying to adopt a baby. And
Really?
yes, it was
Hmm.
crazy. The applications I had to fill in, and now I get there's a lot of bad people out there, but so I ended up finding a barn cat that
Hmm.
needed a home, and I believe the animal chooses us. And so when I walked up to these barn cats, my cat walked up to me, rolled on her back, and started to purr.
Hmm.
Okay, okay, I'm here. I found you.
Yeah.
You're coming home.
I love that. That's insane to me because when the three, so it was originally six in the litter and three of them died.
Oh,
And we reached out to all of the animal places in the area. Most of them didn't even get back to us, and the ones that did said they were full. And it was so hard to give them away. I was just like, well, there are cats for now. So the one that disappeared, he goes on walks with me. And I think that he's so sweet, somebody must have just thought he was a sweet stray cat and took him home. That's the story I'm telling myself.
that's
So,
probably true.
yeah.
He probably wanted some one-on-one attention. Didn't want to fight with the other
Yeah.
10,
There you go.
which comes back to us knowing our own needs, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have one last question for you, which
Okay.
is the only planned question.
Okay.
And that is if you had one piece of advice that you could give to the world, what would it be?
You have everything you need already. You were born with an interrelated, interconnected system that already has everything you need. All you have to do is go inward. Like Glenda, the good witch, said to Dorothy in Wizard of Oz, my dear, you've always had it within you. And if we learn to go in rather than seeking external, that's where our power is.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kathy Baldwin signing off. Until next time. Balaka.